CNN's Freedom Project remains committed to raising awareness about modern-day slavery. It's a rapidly growing multi-billion-dollar enterprise, and we've made it clear it cannot and must not be ignored. Now, Brandon Stanton's one of New York's most famous photographers and is leading the fight against debt slavery. He's helped raise nearly $2 million to help end what's known as bonded labor in Pakistan. These are his powerful photographs, and they show the victims of the practice. With debts over their heads, they are forced to work hard to labor with no payment. Stanton founded the hugely popular blog Humans of New York. It has 15.5 million likes on Facebook, and Brandon himself has hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. And I am delighted to say he joins me. We're honoured, sir, to have you on the programme tonight. Honoured to have you with us. Now, where did this come from? It's a long way from New York to Pakistan. Why did you get involved?
So, last year I traveled to about 15 different countries over the summer, and I always wanted to go to Pakistan, but I was unable to get my visa on time. And so this year is at the top of my list. I was there for 11 days. And what I do is I just stop ordinary people on the streets and I learn their stories. And so in the process of doing this over 11 days in Pakistan, I was introduced to this wonderful woman named Sayeda Ghulam Fatima. And she is the one that is leading the fight in Pakistan to stop bonded labor. And through the series I did on her and introducing her to my audience, that's how we were able to raise the money.
You see, what's fascinating about this is that as a Westerner, you go to a place and you learn about something that's really almost endemic in certain parts of the country, isn't it?
Right. And, the amazing thing is that due to the power and the entrenched interest of these brick kiln owners, bricks are 3% of the GDP in Pakistan. And the people who own these brick kilns are immensely rich. And they influence the legislature in a way that it's really hard for us to imagine over here, to the extent that they have, even though bonded labor is outlawed in Pakistan, these guys have the police working for them to keep people in bondage.
They get out of bonded labor how?
They don't, is the problem. What happens is these poor, illiterate farmers in desperate situations are tricked into taking these very small loans in exchange to work for a few weeks on the brick kilns. When this period of time is done, they go back and say, okay, it's time to leave. And then these owners say, no, you've lived in our house, you've eaten our food, now you owe us twice as much. Get back to work. And if they try to leave, they're hounded and harassed, sometimes by the local police, into staying. These debts balloon and they never get out.
I could arguably say to you, we've known about this for a long time. What do you want done?
Well, one of the things that I am trying to do is empower people on the ground who have the expertise. I'm not a leader in the fight against bonded labor. All I'm doing is spotlighting the most wonderful woman, Sayeda Ghulam Fatima, who I've met, who is leading the fight. This is
What does she need? Does she need money? Does she need political power? Does she need... Frankly, does she need the elites and the rest of the world to put pressure on Pakistan?
Right. Well, I am in a favor of countries solving their own problems. I think Pakistan is a country that is filled with good, well-meaning people, and that, I think there can be a critical mass of awareness within Pakistan that they can pressure their own government to do something about it. What does this woman need? Is this problem going to be solved overnight? Millions of people who have nothing are suddenly going to be incorporated into society? No. It's going to be hundreds of incremental changes. But we're trying to do one of those incremental changes by putting $2 million in the hands of this woman who's proved to be at the forefront of fighting this.